And my stomach just picked the worst time to growl. Right as we go by. I was like, ooh, that's
yours and Lucy's.
I know. I should have taken the cue when you went to feed Lucy. I was like, I probably should grab a snack too. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Political Personas Part 2. Well, this is 2, this is 4, but you know what I mean. Part 2. Thank you so much, Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice, Jen Lynn Tarot, Becca from the House of Lenormand, and Autumn from Black and Orange Tarot for joining us again. We have so many names that we barely cracked the surface, but it was very insightful because I didn't feel myself necessarily feeling sorry for anyone, but it made me go, I think it helps me to understand their neuroses a lot better. Put them more human, as flawed as humans are and as imperfect as humans are. So I thought it was very interesting.
Gives us strength. That just fell out.
Somebody's got strength. We'll see who that card ties to soon. But thank you guys for joining. I want to start off with my favorite thing, some shameless self-promotion. So everybody go down the list and talk. And Johnny, don't you dare say nothing this time. We'll come to you last if we have to, but you're not going to sit here and say staying in my house.
I actually have my calendar open right now.
Good job, Johnny.
So tomorrow we will have a soul chat at 7 p.m. on my channel. We will be talking about ego and fame and YouTube.
That's 7 p.m. Eastern time for those
Eastern
time zones.
Yes.
Eastern.
And then Sunday we will be live on Shining Hawk Healing at 3 p.m. Eastern for another live stream. And then we will be live with on Becca's channel for our regular Sunday live stream. And that's all I have.
Tomorrow at 7 Eastern, Sunday 3 Eastern on Shining Hawk Healing, and then Sunday night, their usual time, 8 p.m., but it's going to be on Becca's channel, the House of Lenormand. Thank you, Johnny.
Absolutely.
He's going to say pajamas, eating, or doing nothing. Just be prepared for it. Awesome. Jen Lynn did a lot of prayers. I miss our mascot. Ooh, wow, I'm getting emotional.
We all do. Everybody's been so kind with their condolences. And Lucy is doing fine for those that have been asking. She's eating dinner right now, so she might make an appearance later. Monday morning, I'm live with Jody Roberts on her channel at 10 a.m. Central Time, so 11 Eastern, doing the Sacred Sounds of Coffee. And if anybody wants to book a reading with me, December's pretty much done, but January is available. You can go to jenlintarot.com and book a reading. I also have gift cards available for Christmas, birthdays,
Yes.
all different occasions on the website.
Awesome. Because I was going to say, don't forget, you can also buy a gift card. Give the gift to Jen.
Some people have been buying those gift cards, and the gift cards take about 48 hours to be active. The email goes out immediately, but it takes about 48 hours in the system to become active.
Okay.
To book a reading with using it.
Give the gift of Jen for Christmas, please and thank you. And also join her and Jody Roberts on Jody's channel Monday the 20th. I actually got it right this time. It is going to be Monday at 10 Central. I'm so excited. I actually get to watch the whole thing, so I'm off on Monday. So I'm going to be in the chat.
You're off.
Obnoxious. So just heads up. Okay. Becca, how are you feeling?
Good.
Okay, so Sunday we're on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to do with that. Sunday they're on your channel at 8 Eastern. When's your next grand tableau?
I just did one today on Mark Meadows.
Okay.
So I'll try to go live with it tonight.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I'll try tonight. So we'll see.
She's got a great one on Mark Meadows. Oh, I forgot. Christmas Day, I usually try to go live sometime in the afternoon. I don't know what time. I just watch for me if you're bored or want to get away from the family, or if you're spending Christmas alone. I try to go on and give you somebody to spend Christmas with.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also spend Christmas. Get the gift of Jinlin and then see Jinlin for Christmas. See Becca Sunday night. And then also maybe later tonight for her grand tableau for Mark Meadows. That's already, why is it making should it already be itchy? There's a part of my body that I will not reveal on camera that's already itchy. That I'm like, oh, and are we still doing our like book club with Becca? Oh, I just named it and branded it for you.
Yeah. I think we're gonna start that the middle of January. That's what everybody wanted to do. So it'll be in the middle of January for that one. And that's it.
Middle of January, please come back for book club with Becca. I'm so creative marketing when I don't have to actually during the day. That's awesome. Autumn! People are ready writing your book. What else is going on?
Gosh. Well, John, I don't want to put Johnny on the spot. I might be on with Johnny tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's space for me, I would very much like to. So that's tomorrow, and then Saturday evening is monthly for patrons. There's a 2-hour. They have me for 2 hours, and it's usually just a small group, and we usually end up talking about spirituality and what's going on the other side, and famous people from history and just stuff like that. Usually not politics, but so that's once a month, last Saturday of the month, except obviously this month it would be Christmas Day. But I will also be on Christmas Day because I'm on every single day of the year. So Central Time in the US, Chicago time, I'm if there's a holiday, your birthday, my birthday, I'm there. So you've got that. You've always got that as well.
God bless you, because I think I would. There's nothing I like to do every day other than sleep and eat. So that is
and worship at the altar of coffee.
yes. Amen. That's dedication. So thank you for everything that you do, ma'am. All right, y'all ready to get into this?
And what pathetic child do we have tonight?
We have, I just want to remind everybody the categories that I'm so proud that I created, only because they make me giggle. They may not make y'all laugh, but they make me laugh because I'm messy. So we've got dirty Dems, Dems who fight for our right. We've got people in the Mean Girls Club, children of the corn. That boy or that girl thinks she cute. Republicans we hate to love. And are they really holding us down or holding us up or holding up things in the office? So where do we want to start?
Close your eyes and point.
Mean Girls Club for 500, Alex.
Mean Girls Club for 500, Alex. Let's start with our favorite mean girl, Jared Kushner.
I was going to say, I saw him. I saw you put him there. It's like, that's perfect.
And these are what makes them tick. Why are they the way they are? For those who are watching for the first time.
You know what it is? And then also too, I'm doing some Oracle. Johnny's going to do Oracle and the Tarot. You all know Becca kicks and slays at the Normand. And then Autumn is going to close us out with their astrology.
And if Johnny takes enough time doing his spread, I'll do an Oracle card too. If not, then it's just tarot.
Let's look at the first girl kicking us off in the Mean Girls Club, Jared Kushner. It's already started off.
I mean, okay. Don't be offended, okay? Just whoever, would be offended if you want to. I don't. That's your feelings. I'm not trying to hold them. So I'll say this: there's the Void and the Four of Swords. He does not have any direction. He's a follower. He has been put in a position of leadership because people who are heirs to be are expected to be, like the Donald Trump Juniors and the Eric Trumps, and they're not leaders either. They're just expected to be because their father is who he is. He would be better suited, I think, in fashion, in the arts. That's his challenge. This is who he really is. This is who he would like to be. He would like to break outside of the mold. He would like to be his own person. I'm not saying he wants to be fancy sachet, like RuPaul or something. I'm just saying he wants to be in a different world, not the scheming and the real estate and all these dirty deals and all that type of thing. That's who he is on the inside. He would like to be different.
That card looks like Michael Jackson. The silhouette, I got a light skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson. Is it the nose, Autumn, and then the really red lips and like the very bony side of the profile reminds me.
Wait a second. Did you just say I look like Michael Jackson?
No, that card looks like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah, the card.
That's what I get, though. I think his challenge is he's not himself, and he has been thrust into a world he knows nothing about.
I could see that. What you got, Jen?
Well, I have the talisman card, which means he knows who to align with and who not to. Like he's got a sixth sense about that. But he gets stuck a lot. Like he has trouble making decisions. He's slow and steady, and he's always looking for love. His love is bullied. He feels out in the cold from love. He's not connected. He doesn't always see and hear the writing on the walls, what I'm getting. And it's a heart chakra thing. He's got a wounded heart chakra. He also, like, his ability to learn is blocked. Like he doesn't learn from his mistakes. He's going to keep doing them. And that's coming from mother energy. Like he's constantly seeking a mother. He wants somebody to mother him. If he needs to change to move forward on his journey, but I get he's very unlikely to. Like he's just stuck, determined, stubborn. And he has a lot of anxiety too.
He did 40.
And he, temperance on the bottom. He might like those dresses.
I was waiting for one of us to find that angle.
I mean, I was trying.
I started it when he said me.
Although I feel like I need to say this. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
There's nothing wrong with that. He's just in the closet about it.
it's on it.
That's the thing. Just own it. But like I said, he can't because of who he's expected to be.
Yeah, that's tough.
You got to put down the stitch witchery and pick up the crooks and the schemes.
Stop being shiesty. Help us out, Becca. What you got?
He would suffer and regret if he was really out of the closet. I'll just put it that way.
He would suffer and be in regret.
Yeah. If he were to come out.
Change. He can't be.
Change. You can't. There's suffering and trouble here. So.
And that makes sense too, because I get the persona is mystery. He just is the person always changing because his shadow attribute is the pioneer. So in dark, it's that compulsive need to keep moving on, not staying still, kind of like Jen was saying, never learning from your mistakes because you just keep going, doing the tumbleweed of life. He also, again, has major solar plexus and third eye chakra issues. This is somebody who has no insight, therefore he does not act on anything. I hate to say impulsivity, but that could be a symptom that you see. He just, this is it. Mystery, man of mystery, just will not be in who he is and who he shall be.
Yeah, sounds right.
Go ahead, Autumn, with this astrology.
Well, yeah, there's stuff in his chart that says he has real sensitivity that is not being honored, and it never has been. His Chiron, his wound that will not heal, is in Taurus, which is a very practical sign, and it's the sign of values and valuables. And so he's forced, essentially he's not forced, but he feels forced to he doesn't feel forced. He feels like this is his best option to do the family business with the values and the valuables. But it just ends up, there's a lot of pain and grief, and he makes mistakes. And if he wasn't so awful, I would feel sorry for him. But he's got some lucky stuff. He's got what I call it a lucky spot. It's a conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, which you can think of as the gas pedal and the brake pedal. And every 20 years you get a group people born around right then that have this. So when they go to do something, they know when to hit the gas, when to hit the brake, and they've got it just so. And so I consider it a lucky spot in their chart, because they can make that car sing around the track. That and Pluto, which is his power, they're both in Libra, which you guys mentioned fashion. Libra is the sign of fashion, and seeing both sides. He's got a Pisces moon. You can't get a more sensitive, emotional nature. But and he's got Venus, what and how we love, and Neptune, which is about escapism and fantasy. They're up near each other at the end of Sagittarius. So this escapism, this follow that arrow over the hill. What's over here? Let's travel. Let's this fantasy that he escapes to in his mind. But as far as what his life is actually like, he's just having to make peace with that Chiron. It's in a positive aspect to his sun, his sense of self. So his deep wound and his sense of self, he's just accepted that he just has to live with that pain, which isn't true, but that's how he sees it. And his Mars, how he takes action. So I was like, okay, well, where's your action? Where's your masculinity? Traditional masculinity, testosterone. It's sitting on his south node, which is not what he's looking backwards. He's supposed to be doing that in life, and his every action he takes is pulling him back into this basically what he's supposed to be getting out of. So that and some Capricorn energy, that's what makes him a snob, and that's what you've got there. There's a ton of sensitivity in here, and he is not going to. If he has not acknowledged it by now, it's not going to come easy at all. Sorry if that was too much or too long-winded. But it
makes sense to me.
It makes sense.
It makes. Well, let's look at his counterpart in the Mean Girls Club, his wife, Ivanka. What makes her ground? See, I gotta put the cards down. I'm already being messy. I was about to say what makes her grimy and slimy. But what makes her outside of the fact that, her father used to make her sit on his lap? Thank you to all 190 of you guys in the watching tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my amazing moderators. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you for spending the evening with us. Almost going into my first official days of vacation.
So, who she is all okay. How to get to the point. 101.
We'll ride this with you. Just take us down the path.
So there's this theory. This is very obscure to what this means, but I'm going there. So follow along, please. So there's this theory in the religious sector that is coined by the scientific sector, God of the gaps, that you put God in the place where you don't understand things. Where's the sun go at night? God must have turned the light out. Okay, but when you figure out where the sun goes at nighttime, then the space where God occupies becomes smaller to where it disappears altogether. I say that to say her identity is sewn, it's wrapped up in the name Trump. And so the worse that name becomes, the smaller the space she has to occupy. The space in which she will occupy also becomes more and more toxic. It becomes more and more, it does not give life to her anymore because it doesn't mean anything anymore. So it's her challenge is acceptance. Just like the boys, she doesn't know how to be herself. She's a Trump. That's her identity. And when you put all of who you are in your name, if your name ever turns to dust, you go with it. So she was not allowed. And if there's any part of you that wants to ever feel sorry for these people, feel sorry for them because of that. Because as a child, they were not allowed to grow up and just be kids. They had to be Trumps. And so she was never allowed to be accepted as anything other than the Barbie doll. And so that's who she is. Who she is. This is not necessarily who she is. This is who she is right now. The person that she is, she does not accept because she can't. She has to be like the other ones, and she has to be a Trump. She has to be an heiress instead of an airhead. But there you go.
Yeah. I get goblins for her. She is haunted. She self-sabotages. She has a self-worth issue, and she has a strong feeling of lacking what she needs. Like she's always hunting for something. She's a hunter. She's always waiting on her ships to come in. I laughed when this came up. It's all about money and power and travel and being strong, but she's lost in that. It's all illusion, and she doesn't get it. She in love, she's a bully, so she doesn't know how to love. She doesn't have the ability to learn, and lying is a big part of her. Like she's stuck in lies all the time, and she's like a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like a child. Did you take that cookie out of the cookie jar? No, it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
Crumbs all around her mouth.
All of it.
Chocolate on the
She
fingers.
got a trail of crumbs.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Go ahead, ma'am.
I get that she doesn't have problems because it's all about the glitz, the glam, so long as it looks pretty.
Yep. Exactly.
Make it look pretty and the problems end. So whether that's superficiality, celebrity, shining bright like a diamond, it doesn't matter. Just go in a new direction and pretty it up because this is muck and leave that behind. See what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know if that's a coping mechanism or something that she's learned, but that's what I get.
I wonder if it's something she's learned, because like Johnny was saying, if you to feel sorry for them, the only thing you should feel sorry for is they're Trumps, and they were born into this dichotomy of what is expected and not what you can be, because she gets personality. She gets to Cardi B. She was supposed to be the celebrity. And actually, in ways that her father would have wanted her to be the celebrity, and he could hitch to that and not himself. That's what. So she was primed to be like Jen was saying, the beautiful blonde. This is what you do. This is who you are. I swear, you can't. Spirit picked the card, not me. Her archetype, that was the prostitute, and Carolyn Misk was really, really deep into the prostitute archetype. And with the shadow, it is you have sold yourself, your goods, your self-worth for material gain.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, is that not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's also coupled with the solar plexus, the responsibility card. She has no personal responsibility, has never had to take it, and it was taught to never take it. Mm-hmm. And because of that too, I'm supposed to be the celebrity. I was supposed to be Marsha. People are supposed to cater to me. They're supposed to do for me. I'm not supposed to. I don't have to. Completely devoid of personal accountability. And when Jen said the lie, communication, very broken, throat chakra, cannot speak or hear divine truth. It's really sad. Oh, tell us where her nodes and her bodes and her charts are.
Her self-worth is so sabotaged. It's like it explains like all the surgery she's probably had. I mean, she's like camouflage. You don't know what's there.
Yes. Just if you just handed me these two charts of her and her husband, I would actually say, believe it or not, I like him better. Oh, I've lost. Oh no! Wait, I can't hear. Hang on. Okay, now I can hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him better because she has got so many planets in Libra, the sign of fashion, and including Mercury with that fake breathy voice, her fake breathy communication, because every action she takes, her Mars, how she acts, is this Virgo perfectionism. Everything must be perfect down to the detail. And her sense of self is in Scorpio. So it's all that intensity, and they are linked together by aspect. So that's what's underneath is this intensity. I'm going to act. And it's going to be perfect. It's going to be perfect. And that Scorpio intensity kicks in. And when Scorpio goes bad, I say that as a Scorpio. I spent many years learning not to use my stinger. But you have to, so she has to have this perfect action. But then she's got all this stuff in fashion, and lucky, big, showy Jupiter is in the exact same place as intense Pluto, which is under the gold underground and the power behind the throne, and it's just not nice. And then to top that all off, she's got Venus, what and how you love, also her femininity, is in the same place as Neptune, the fantasy. So this whole feminine she's this perfect. She's a Barbie doll.
She's a blow-up doll.
Yeah. It's just everything. It's just a fantasy. It's not real. The voice isn't real. This isn't real. That isn't real. This isn't real. That isn't real. And her moon's up in all of it is up in Sagittarius. That and her moon is up in Sagittarius. So it's always looking over there. So it would be like international fashion. The sad thing is what she's actually here to do on this earth, her North Node, it's in Cancer. And that's the same thing I was looking at this today, scarily enough. The other person who's got their North Node in Cancer, believe it or not, is Jim Jordan. They are both, when you have a North Node in Cancer, your life mission is to focus not on worldly success, but more on your emotional nature and be a warm and nurturing soul. Right underneath that, I have the words epic fail.
They missed a little bit.
Both of them.
Epic
Seriously.
fail.
Come on.
But no, I actually think of the two of, they're both awful, but of the two of them, Ivanka she's more fake, and when she doesn't get her way,
It totally makes sense though, because like it's all flash and no substance. And I keep thinking back to what was it, the G6 summit or something that she went to, and she's surrounded by all these world leaders and intellectuals and academics, and she's just completely out of her element because it works for her in her society.
Mm-hmm.
Just be pretty and no substance needed, you know, and
But you don't have to talk intelligently around her dad because
Yeah.
he's about as stupid as it comes.
hmm She was the pretty goldfish in the potato soup. That's what it was.
Part of me too wonders if he groomed. This is going to sound really sick, but if he groomed her to be the wife that he wanted.
That's what he acts like.
That narcissism, like she looks like me, therefore I already think she's pretty because she comes from me, and then I'm going to also, I desire her because she looks exactly how I wish any of my other wives looked, even though she looks part like him. So that's that weird sickness.
yeah, but at the same time, how many times did she go under the knife to get the nose she got?
Yeah.
The lips she got.
He just acts more proud of her than he does Melania.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't you take Melania overseas to mingle and dingle with all the other wives, and you took your daughter?
He didn't want Melania smacking his hand away.
Right.
for what it's worth, and there is disgusting research out there and that knowledge that's been gathered about narcissism and
pedophilia.
No, the other thing you were talking about, I don't want to go there, but yeah, there's a link, but I did a long time ago. I did a comparison. It's very simple. Just went to Astro Theme. When you put in two people in their database, usually well-known people, and it'll give you a compatibility rating. And it's a steep bell curve. So most people, you have like a 50% compatibility, and then it can go above 100 or below 0, but it's much fewer. Well, I put in Donald Trump, and I looked at him and Eric, and it was 50% compatibility, very average.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him and senior and junior, and it was like 45% compatibility. I'm like, he likes Eric more than but only because I think Junior has his name. Mm-hmm. I think he would like Eric more because Eric's more of a pushover.
I would say more moldable.
Yeah. His compatibility with Ivanka was 100%.
That was going to be in the 90s. Yeah.
And if they had a healthy relationship, he would be the most wonderful father, the most proud. Isn't she great? Everything she does is so wonderful, and she would, he would want her to succeed. Good parents, if you had good parents, they took you and they threw you as far forward as possible. And then if you have children, it's your job to throw them as far forward as possible. And that's what he would have done. But he's actually just put all of them underneath his thumb. But yeah.
As Doxy said, Daddy's little girlfriend. Let's move into the Children of the Corn and round out this Trump family saga and look at the nasty one himself. Did I put him under Children of the Corn? I'm sorry. I backed up. It's that he thinks he's cute. That boy thinks he's cute. Donald Trump himself. Finishing out the Trump family saga.
Of course. Why not? Of course.
Like, I put him in Children of the Corn. You definitely think he's cute.
Yeah. Who is he? Gebo, this is gifts, money, possessions. Mind you, Gebo is not earned money. This is gifts. This is money given to me. So this is building blocks. This is basically trust fund kid. That's who he is. He was silver spooned his whole life. He got to grow up. Remember, he said his part of the war effort was not contracting an STD. That was his surviving the war, not his bone spurs. His surviving the war was that. He's the trust fund kid. He would be the one with looks like comes from the Land's End catalog with the pastel shirt and the shorts and the stupid moccasin shoes or whatever. That's him. He's that person with the weird haircut. He's that person who grew up into the one you know now, because that's all he's ever had was the silver spoon. His challenge is the Six of Swords. How does one move forward when one doesn't know what to do? How does one move forward when one has no lessons from the stormy seas that you're supposed to move into the calm? How do you even know what to do? That's why he can't survive right now. That's why he's having a hard time right now. That's why he's lashing at everybody he can do right now, because his whole life, the silver spoon is now tarnished. And so now he's sitting with the nickel spoon in his mouth, and now it's everybody else's fault except his. And he does not know how to move forward. He's stuck. He's actually even going in reverse. And so you're going into the storm instead of out of it, because now your life has come to this moment to where the silver spoon doesn't help you anymore, to where the checks and balances are a little too heavy for your trust fund. And so he's becoming a person that has now been a victim of his upbringing, because nobody ever lets you fall and figure out how to get back up. So the transition will be your challenge for the rest of your life, actually. That's I mean, mind you, there's 4 decks here, and I'm pretty sure I can pull every single card and give you a whole story on this, man. I've done it once before, actually, but that's enough, I think. Gracious.
Yeah, he's the grand manipulator, the sleight of hand. What have I got up the sleeve? And as Johnny calls this, the ultimate liar, right? Because the sleight of hand and everything. He's just stuck. He doesn't grow. He's stuck. And he's all talk, all bluster. The way he looks at women and money is just totally different from what he should be doing. I also get he has night terrors, which is interesting, but his image is all illusion. There's no balance. He thinks his family stands on higher ground. He's a social climber. And like his friends change all the time because he makes plans with them and then gets separated from, like, he can't connect to friends because it's all about the loyalty, right? And I drew the balance card on him. He can't balance because it's like, well, I'll put it here. Oh, wait, now I got to balance the balance sheet this way. So I'll put it over there. Just like with this taxes, I'll inflate the taxes. No, I'll reduce them. It's all just a juggling game the whole time. What was interesting, back in 2018, when I first started my channel, I did a Akashic reading on him, and it showed that he was supposed to come here and be wealthy and learn what to do with his wealth, and he couldn't do it. He's so short-sighted, and because of his narcissism, he's very unlikely to learn, very unlikely to change, and it's sad. He's stuck. He's stunted. He'll come back and have to do it again and again.
Yeah.
He could have made a lot of positive change in his life.
Could have. Ooh, Becca, help us, please, because I feel cringy.
Why is he the way that he is? Because he's a loser.
Yeah.
I'll keep it simple.
Yeah.
He's a loser. I got and so loss. It's like he was given the answer to not be a loser, but it's like he brings it on himself because he steals, and then there's losses here. So he's a loser. What I get.
This is a person who's resistant to learning, growth, and change. Resistance is the personality type. You tell him to go right, he's going to go left. You tell him stop eating the cookies because it's going to give you gas, and he will fart to the moon because he's going to continue to eat the cookies. Resistance. It's a game to him. This isn't, I'm going to do the opposite, because in his mind, that means he's a free thinker, when really he just means that he's a stubborn jerk. That has nothing to do with free thinking. You're just doing whatever the opposite is. So resistance. I'm going to save his personality and his archetype for last. This is a person who struggles. Action. Hello. Root chakra issues. His actions, not so much that he struggles to actually take charge and do things, he is the person who is only going to do it if it benefits. Because again, there's that movement. There is that discipline that's involved with action that he just struggles to take. Somebody also who has always struggled with divine consciousness. If you read about the minister that he studied under growing up, this makes a lot of sense. His church, his family home was very, very interesting. I'm just going to put it that way. So it wasn't so much necessarily a connection with spirit and with God, but it was more of a connection with ego and with self. So that makes a lot of sense. His archetype is the rescuer. Here's the thing with the rescuer. The rescuer is the person who's going to throw you the life preserver and save you and sacrifice themselves when it is the light attribute. When it's the shadow attribute, this is the person who, if they do even lift a finger to help, they may have helped you. If they loaned you $2, in return, they expect $2 million.
That's him.
Everything that I give you, everything that I've helped you, you owe me tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
I always say the good thing he did, though. I never would have probably met none of y'all if it wasn't for Donald Trump.
That's right.
That's true.
Cool.
That's
Absolutely.
that's the good thing, I suppose.
Round this off, Autumn, because I feel sketchy and dirty. I have to spray myself again.
There's yeah, just a couple of points. Where his sun is, his sense of self is on his north node, and so it's all his whole part of a big chunk of his whole reason for being here is me. And he's got Uranus right there, the rebel. So I'm going to do what I want, and it's all about me, and it's always about me. And he was born during an eclipse. So that gives extra oomph and power to his whole personality, his whole persona.
So he was born when the sun went out.
With that Uranus energy too, it can be like sudden, unexpected too,
Yep.
like shock factor. He should have been shock.
Yeah, well, and it's all three of them are in Gemini, which is about communication. It was actually a lunar eclipse, which makes sense because he also has Venus, what and how you love, and Saturn, which is structure, form, fences, in the same place. He's emotionally constricted, and not good.
Very much.
His Mercury, how he communicates, is at a 90-degree angle to his fantasy, creating Neptune. So that is if you have Mercury square Neptune, it doesn't mean you're a liar, but if you're raised a certain way, let's say you've got a predisposition, if nobody stops you, if nobody encourages that like his father did. So he's got that traditional it's a traditional mark of liars there. And the interesting thing about his sun and his moon being opposite each other is that they are at a very positive angle to both his super lucky Jupiter. So he's got super lucky Jupiter sending more positive energy through his luminaries, his sun and his moon. This is a blockbuster chart. But what are you going to use your power for? He's turned himself into a supervillain. But he has this blockbuster chart, and it's positive aspects with Jupiter and its positive aspects with Mars, how he takes action, which is also right on his ascendant, which is how you present yourself. So his very sense of self and all of his emotions are pouring energy into how he takes action, and his sun and his moon are like yeeting his actions like out the door and into our faces constantly. His family can't live up to this chart. It's all about me, and I have all of this, and I have all of this power, And these are my children. What do you mean you don't know? What do you mean you're not wearing a suit? What do you mean you're not? They cannot possibly live up to the power that's in this chart, but he's turned himself into a supervillain. The good news is right now, that sun and moon that help him so much, in the sky, lovely Neptune, beautiful Neptune in the sky, is in this perfect 90-degree angle square, grinding energy against that sun and moon. It is, and Neptune dissolves, like being put in the water, in the ocean. You just dissolve. And that is weakening this whole chart on a fundamental level. So basically his luck is running out currently.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, as Andre from Astrology Alert says.
Okay, so sorry from the bottom of my heart. 2 feet lower, it would have been so let's keep going on the That Boy Thinks He's Cute, and let's look at Mitch the Ditch McConnell. And thank you so much, Marie Henson, for the super chat. I just, since we're already grimy, let's just get into the grimiest of the grimy, and then we'll get out of the grimy.
I'm going to resist the urge to just look through the deck and find the bad. Ugh,
This man, I swear.
my favorite person.
There are 2 things in life, and I know I'm going to hell for this, that make me giggle uncontrollably. And I'll go back and watch these videos on YouTube. And no, they're not of cute little kittens. The first one is when George W. Bush ducked them shoes at that conference. And the second one was when Elaine Chao looked at Mitch McConnell after he fell off that podium, or getting up on that podium. And she was like, I don't know why that
didn't help her husband at all.
Didn't even help. I said, she's colder than him.
I mean, okay, what I start over. I just started picking up stuff. Okay, thank you.
Mitch, let's ditch him, McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, who is he?
I mean, we know he's Satan, but I mean, what contributed to him being this way?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Well, I mean, this is not too far off from that. So,
$5 says he pulled the devil.
I didn't,
Okay.
But at the same time, my mind kind of goes to him and his zombie hand. So I get the tribe, right? This is who he is right now. He wants quiet command. He wants to, I don't want to say he wants to fit in. He wants people to orbit him. This is different than just a plain old narcissist. This is, I want to be able, I get this image, follow what my image is. I get this image of him putting batteries in the Republicans. He can take them out. He can recharge them. He can make sure you get to where you need to go, make sure you get to what you need to do. He wants to be in charge, but not president. He kind of wants to have the power, the underhanded power, the dark power, the behind the scene power, behind the door power. You can go out and be the figurehead, but I am the one who has the power. And I can't say he didn't accomplish that, unfortunately. It's kind of what he wanted. And then I get regeneration, which this he's undead. He's a zombie. So if anybody is, he is. But that's about that second wind, which I can't say he doesn't accomplish that either. His challenge, however, is the larger perspective. Yes, you may control a certain microcosm, but there is also when he fell up the steps, I will say, because I'm not Mother Teresa and she don't live here, I will say I got at least a good 10, 11 giggles out of that.
I got 16.
It's not technically an old man with polio falling up the steps, but he's proactively a horrible person. It would be like if, Hitler fell off a bridge. I'm not jumping to save you, and, I'm going to laugh when you hit the bottom. I just am. You go find your holiness somewhere else. That ain't me. But he can't see the larger picture. He can't see the bigger scheme of things. And so when he controls this little microcosm, the people around you also consider you to be a horrible person. So when you fall up the steps and nobody helps you up immediately, or people make fun of your hand because it's about to fall off, or all these other, like, you shouldn't be the butt of people's jokes. You should be the type of person to where if you had a runny nose, it could be like, oh my God, I'm going to bring you some chicken soup. That's the kind of person you should be in life, where there's somebody out there who is concerned for you. There's somebody out there who wants the best for you. Your own wife didn't think enough to take even 2 steps in your direction. I ain't even saying she had to pull you up. She's smaller than you. But she didn't look. She looked and then looked back again, like, oh, there he is, falling again. So your larger perspective, your character, basically, to say all of this, your character is your challenge. You don't have any. You killed it and resurrected the garbage side of you. I always say, if you want to see where the devil is, look in the mirror. We are the worst things on this planet, and we are the best things on this planet. You make the choice of which one you want to be, and he made his choice. That is the nicest thing I'm going to say about him. I'm done.
That was very nice.
It's interesting you talk about his poor dead hand, because I drew Metamorphosis, and in order to change, in order to be like a butterfly that comes out of the cocoon, or the snake that sheds its skin, something has to die away in order for something new to come in. So maybe his hand is trying to die or something, because he's very unlikely to let go of something in order to bring in some change with him at a soul level. He likes to stir up fights. He likes, when you can't figure out which side to choose, kind of thing. The ultimate bully, and with hidden agendas. He's always waiting on his ships to come in. He comes in very erratically. He is not that different from Trump. He's just older and maybe a little bit smarter. He is not that different from him. They both crave power and things that are illusionary, and the hypocrisy is the word that keeps coming to mind. I get he denies his feminine side, like he kind of hides away from that, clings to money and people with money. So very influenced by anybody that's got money, visions of grandeur and illusions. And he's basically just stuck, trapped, and always waiting on his harvest or his ship to come in. He doesn't accomplish anything because the hypocrisy just always glares in your face with him.
Killed his compassion.
Mm-hmm. And that hand.
Mm-hmm.
I get that he's driven to be so cutthroat for money and abundance, prosperity. That's what I get.
That is him to a T.
So I don't know, were they poor when he was a child? Because he had polio and he relied on, a lot of FDR programs. Mm-hmm. And here he is trying to cut social programs that he benefited from personally.
Well, it's like he's never voted for disaster relief until it hit Kentucky.
Yep.
Never once.
Yep.
So self-serving.
I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm just going to, of all the cards I pulled, I'm just going to talk about 2. This doesn't exist for this man. It just doesn't. This heart chakra, this compassion, the Buddha in me sees the Buddha in you, does not exist for him. Because that takes humility, and not humility, and the humility says humility as in you need to be a freaking human being. One of y'all called him a cyborg or the undead or the zombie. That's it. That's it. This was very interesting to me. His archetype is the slave. The shadow self is so interesting. It's you're giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. What is that external authority? What is that fear of not being able to make a decision? I couldn't think about it. I'm trying to put my finger on it. I'm like, it's the greed. The greed is what gives him. That is what he's given his willpower and his authority to. It's the abundance. It's the power. It is the money. He's given that. That's what controls him. So he doesn't have to make a decision for anything else. He's driven by the greed. So to that, he is a slave to that. That makes perfect sense. Finish us off, please, Autumn.
The emotional disconnect is in his chart. I don't have a birth time for him, but I'm going to guess it probably is somewhere near noon, somewhere in the ballpark of middle of the day there. Because, wow. Pluto is about power. It's about, and when you've got high up politicians, Pluto's always a thing in their charts because they want that power. And his power is actually sitting right on his what's called a point of fortune, which may be a little bit somewhere else, but probably near there. But it's also in Leo. So it's luck with power, wanting power, but Leo's, when Pluto went into Leo, it went into Leo in 1939. It kicked up, when Pluto enters a sign, it kicks up things to do with that sign so that we can clear it out. It plows that field and gets the worms and the gunk and the stuff up into the air. What happened in 1939? Oh, look, Pluto's like, oh, there's a dictator, Hitler. Let's deal with let him bring all this stuff up so we can get rid of it. Well, he's got that. McConnell's, he has that Pluto, and it's opposite his emotions. You said I think Jedlin, you were saying he doesn't accept his feminine side. Well, in order for him to have power for this to go up, his own feelings have to be, he feels like he has to suppress his own feelings. And if he lets his feelings get high, he loses power. And while this is doing this, which is not fun and not nice, and Venus is already in Aquarius, which can be not the, it's more about giving equally, like charity, not feeling, caring. Both of those are square his moon, his emotion, his own inner emotions that no. So everything in him is saying, I want power, and I have to deny what I love, how I love, and I've got to deny my own emotions. There has to be a disconnect, because there's also a square between his emotions, his emotional needs, and what he loves and how he loves. They grind against each other. They're not happy. So he just denies that part of himself. His sun, his sense of self, is in Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac. On the good side of Pisces, you have Jesus, the greatest hippie who ever lived. And the giving to all, to caring, to it, but it's also a sign of institutionalism. As in, people, there are a lot of people today who don't follow Jesus. They follow the church. They follow a church, which is an institution. McConnell is an institutionalist. It's also the hidden. It's called the hidden house, because Pisces, there's something about them where it almost feels like they have one foot on the other side. They're kind of done with the world. So some of the other things you guys were saying, it's like, oh, 1 foot already on the other side. Okay, all right. But that idea also, I think it was Johnny was saying he doesn't want to be president. It's because he that institution, that he wants to be part of that institution in the hidden house. So there's that, and he's stubborn as all get out. Every action he takes with Mars is also has dour Saturn holding it there, and it's all in very, very stubborn Taurus. So when that goes bad, it's just getting stuck in the mud, absolutely stuck, and you can't budge him. You absolutely can't make him take any action. He doesn't want, no way.
Because that goes back to him having to make decisions, which is part of the slave archetype. He won't do it. He's the one to be responsible for it.
The fact he's so power hungry, like, why be president? That's over in 4 years, maybe 8, if you're lucky and get reelected. You know, he's like long-term power.
Yep. The one thing he has going for him, one is the fact that he's willing to accept the institutionalism aspect. Loves it. It's like his own fishbowl. He's just like, oh, I'm comfortable here. But also, he's fortunate in that his communication, his Mercury, is in a very favorable aspect to Jupiter, big, benevolent. The great. They used to call it the great beneficent. That in Gemini, so that when he communicates, it resonates with people. Not everybody, obviously, but it does resonate with people when he speaks. And this is awful. Now, as far as what he's, is he doing what he's here to do? What his work order is in this life? His North Node is in Virgo, that meticulous craftsperson, the person, of the 3 earth signs, Taurus grows it, Virgo crafts it. And Capricorn makes it expensive. Is he being meticulous? Yes. Is he being a craftsperson in his way? Is he using his power for good? No.
He certainly crafted the courts.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. He's crafting. He's just crafting. He's using, again, like Trump. You've got power in this chart. Are using it for good or ill. Oh, you've turned yourself into a supervillain. Good for you. And emotionally, you would not want to have any emotional. You would not. I would not want to have even a friendship with this guy.
No.
Well,
Emotions.
It's interesting because his kids, none of them will talk to him.
Because with friends and a dad like that, who needs enemies? He is your enemy.
No, I didn't know that about the kids.
Oh yeah,
That's the only difference between him and Trump to me is that Trump's kids are begging for his attention, and McConnell's kids are like, "No, stay away."
Writing him off, Autumn. Writing off. Let's talk about one of the children at the Kern. I would love to pick y'all's brains on Josh Hawley. Vomit he makes that vomit that rises right in the back of your throat and then comes back down again. That's what I get right with him.
I have to create his chart. I'll be just a second.
I am one person removed from him, unfortunately, and they can't stand it. Actually, 2 people know him. Some one person times 2 removed, and they say he's a cretin. So.
Oh, bless his heart. Bless his heart. Oh, bless his heart. Okay, so who is he? He is out of balance, eternally and absolutely, with the 2 of Pentacles. This is a person who is more geared for simple things of life. Maybe he should go get a regular job, be his kid's little league coach or something of that nature. But if you start piling too many things on his plate, it crashes. And that's not even a dig, because I'm the same person. If you give me too many things to do, something gonna go wrong, like real fast. So he is a person who needs to live a little more in the simple lane. I got Hagalas. This is about destruction, disaster. It's usually a natural disaster. He is more than likely a person who is injected in a situation and it becomes worse. He is, what's the nice word?
Crap starter, instigator.
I like that.
Marshmallow. Messy.
He is a F up. That's what he is. He's.
Were we taking suggestions, jerk?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because he's not a person who brings a good energy. He is a person who brings an energy that tears things down. That's what it is. His challenge is soulmates. He has not found his tribe. He has not found the people who can help him grow. Soulmates is not always romance. It is the person who helps your soul become mature. He has not found that. And he cannot find that where he is. You can't go looking for a bed of roses in a pit of snakes. So it's that type of thing.
That's the key. He's got good people, because the people I know, they've known him for a very long time. He's had really good circles in the past. But what the key was he was looking for the rose in the snake pit. He was going to the snake pit, realizing that he had the rose field earlier, that they had already clipped the thorns away from him to get him. Like,
he can't find. Well, I shouldn't. As you say, I shouldn't say he can't find it. He didn't realize it, or he didn't appreciate it, and then he started, like the Marjories and all of them. They chase this stuff. They chase the fame and fortune and the goofy and doofy, and then next thing you know, you leave behind the people who are actually making you a better person, and then you become a Josh Hawley instead of, oh, that's Josh. No, that's, oh my God, there's Josh.
we've got great alternate names for him in the chat if anybody. Oh, what you got, Jen?
Well, I start with the flying card. It's like he should be able to fly over and look down and observe and come up with like great ideas, great perspective on things. But he's like flying and never comes down. He's all up in the air, erratic, charging in with no plan. Just, I'm going to charge in, I'm going to bulldoze, no plan. I'm just a bully, and I do get no balance to him at all. I do get he's had a lot of sudden losses, like tragic losses, and he's going to talk to anybody that supports him. So if he feels like you're on his side, he's going to talk with you. If he doesn't feel like you're on his side, he's going to ignore you, and he abandons a lot of work because of that. He likes his money. He's got a nostalgia feeling for money. So I don't know if he comes from money or not, but he desires it, is what I'm getting. It's all image with him. He's going to be the emissary for the one in charge. He can never lead because he's always doing the work for somebody else. And again, it all comes back to balance. I don't get like anything about love. It's a heart chakra issue with him too.
Yeah, I would say that. These people. Can you make my face stop scrunching up, Becca? Maybe you've got a nicer view of him.
No, I get that he's just motivated by achieving power and loads of finances, like a windfall. Like, go like this, see which way the wind's blowing, where's the money coming from, align yourself with that. Yeah. That's what I get.
Chasing them phones.
Because he also is the prostitute as well. I clearly don't even want to hold that card because it disturbs. I'll have the pin hold it because it disturbs me so much. The prostitute, he is just like Ivanka. He's the one who's going to sell his soul to get the goods. I'm going to sell anything and everything that I should be doing, I should align with to get whatever I can get. Also, too, driven by sacral chakra, driven by pleasure. What pleases me in this moment, not because doing the right thing is hard. It's not easy. That's why a lot of people give up on therapy or doing the work to help themselves or do good things, because it's laborious. It's hard, you guys. But he's like, yeah, I'm just going to do what's easy because that pleases me. What pleases me is the pleasure principle that drives him. And like Johnny said, he's a stinker. He's a fighter. He's the one that throws the Molotov cocktail, then runs away and then talks about why is the building on fire? That's him. Stinky, stinky man. Hope you're done, Autumn. We tried to stall as long as we can. It doesn't have to be detailed though. It can be whatever you got.
Just making a note. He knows when to be a rebel and when to act like everything's fine. Put on the facade, the Saturn facade, that rebellious side of him, and that Saturn, everything is just so. They have very good energy between the two, so he can just switch back and forth depending. He has a whole bunch of stuff in Virgo. So again, that very meticulous kind of stuff. But his sun, his very sense of self, is in Capricorn. And it is in a very positive aspect to his Jupiter, his big, expansive, lucky Jupiter. So he has a big, expansive sense of self in the house of status. And let's put it this way. Pluto went into Capricorn. Remember, Pluto digs things up. It looks around. It's like, okay, how can I, whatever this topic is, like Capricorn or whatever sign this is, how can I cause the biggest upheaval? So Pluto went into Capricorn, the sign of status, started plowing through the field, and he said, see, oh, I know. In the United States of America, let's have the first African-American president for 2 terms who's not problematic. The white supremacists are going to lose their minds. And that's what happened. Because Pluto was like, oh, you guys like status, huh? Well, let's dig through and see what's really here. Let's dig all this up. And then once he was gone, Pluto looked around and said, okay, who's the biggest Capricornian status hungry walking embodiment of all 7 deadly sins? Hey, Dawn, you're up. So this is that, it's that Capricorn energy, sense of self, but it's in this, it's also getting fed by all this Jupiter energy. So he has this inflated sense. And if somebody was going to be giving a hand power signal to a bunch of possible white supremacists, every sign has a good and a bad sign, and a sign that's about status. Yeah. So his Venus is odd. It's sort of hanging out by itself, and it's disconnected from a lot of the rest of the chart. And what and how he loves, it's in Aquarius. So that would be great for charity, giving equally to all. But as far as like deep emotional, unless he was born really early in the day, really early, I don't even think it touches even his moon or anything. So, but he does have his moon across from Neptune. So his emotional needs are being met by that fantasy across the way. And Pluto, all that power, is feeding into his emotional needs and his fantasy, Neptune. So I want the power, emotional need for the fantasy, power, emotional need, fantasy, power, emotional need, fantasy, power. What a lovely human being.
You know who else did that? Edmund Kemper, the co-ed killer. He had this. I went on this rabbit hole and watched Mindhunters and then watched this whole thing about Edmund Kemper. So just bear with me because I was into learning about behavioral sciences. He was talking about how he wrapped up the fantasy and the power, and that's what he got off. That's why he killed. It wasn't so much about anything else, but being in that fantasy life of that power. It's something when he said that, it reminded me of him, and I was like, wow, he has the same traits as a serial killer. Not saying he is one, YouTube.
Yeah. But his actual, what and how he loves is
tied to that power.
Just hanging out over there. It's
ugly.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
Their brain creates a world they want to exist in, and then they go do it.
Because he lived very deeply in a fantasy world.
And he feels massively entitled, and he is incredibly devoted to status.
Yep.
This system of this keeping status.
Okay.
I'd like to come along and just knock him off his pedestal.
Okay, just like push him over. I would be remiss if I didn't get her in before we ended tonight, because all of the bombshells, things that are going on around with the text messages. I would look at the Republican we hate to kind of love right now, or maybe we're giving her a little bit more like than we should. I don't know. Let's look at Liz Cheney. If you're listening to the analyst, you have to keep it clean in case you kind of teach the Dems some of the dirty Republican tricks on how he's coaching the committee on releasing these text messages. They say like father, like daughter. So we'll see.
I love. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love how Benny Thompson got up there and was like, all right, we do not want to give away too much information until we've had a chance to, so we can sit down and explain what has happened from beginning to end. And then, Liz Cheney goes up to speak, and she's just like, okay, text messages. This guy said this. This guy, Hannity said this, and this, and this, and this. She was like, receipt. It was like, yes.
She's like, and the ones I'm not going to tell you about, they know what I know, and I know what they know. So, yeah. Sorry, Johnny, what you got?
So, okay, what it seems to be. So the first card is darkness. This is your moment to go within. This is your moment to soul search. This is your moment of quiet. And in a life like hers, there's not a lot of that. But when you get it, that's when Spirit monitors your life, whether you like it or not. And those moments where you are vulnerable, as I would call it, but it's not the right term, when you are quiet, when they can come in and have your attention, then they're going to come in and they're going to have your attention. They're going to say some things, you're going to get some things, you're going to hear some things, blah, 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 blah. She has some of that going on right now. Now, this is supposed to be who she is. It's not telling me who she is. It's telling me what she needs to do. So I'm getting the darkness, and then I get outfits. This is about emergencies. This is about disasters, but it's like once something horrible happens, then there's a response that needs to be made. Now, yes, she is on the panel of the Jan 6, and she's doing her thing, and she's a household name now, blah, blah. Okay, but this is a little bit more about you and your position in life right now, because you have been called to the forefront to sort of bring to task some of the people on your side, which you should maybe, I'm not saying what you have to do, but I'm saying this, maybe you need to monitor what side you're standing on. Why is it that it is so easy for this side to do these things and not the other one? There's something on the inside of you that does not line up with your divinity, because your challenge is the Hierophant. There's something on the inside of you that does not align with your divinity. I'm not talking about religion and what your daddy taught you and what your mama taught you and all these different. I'm talking about the thing that's on the inside of you that is going to wait for them dark hours to come and talk to you and say, listen here, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying does not align with me. Does not align with what I really would like you to do. You're in a position of a certain power and authority. You need to align with me, because I'm going to take you and make you a better person. I'm going to take you and put you in a better direction. There are things that you, as a woman who is in a position of power during the age of Aquarius, need to be doing, and this ain't it. Great that you're on the Jan 6 commission. That's fantastic. But you stood out because you're a Republican who did not go along with the rest of them, which again, you need to figure out why were you standing over there in the first place. That's what I get.
I start with education, and education is about, you can have all the book smarts in the world, but until you get some practical life education, it's not going to serve you to help you at all. So she needs to immerse herself in life more to take those things that she's learned philosophically and apply them into life. It's all about daddy and his money, I get. She's very ambitious, driven, trying to get ahead. Her heart chakra's blocked. She's had heartbreak. Everything's finished, done, polished is what I'm hearing. Like, send her to boarding school or whatever and get, polish her up. Everything's like already done in the past. Now it's like, let's see where the wisdom is going to get you. Again, going back to that education. She's very focused on work. She's got a nostalgia for all the family and the family money. She's can be prone to backstabbing, which we see now with the Republicans. She has all these visions of grandeur for the Republican Party. That's my Republican Party card. Like, she wants to change the structure of it, but she's like fighting this battle alone. This is Dark Night of the Soul for her. She's fighting the battle alone, and she's anxious. She's looking for people to partner with her. So again, I structurally know how this should be done for my book smarts, but I got to get people involved and engaged with me to make significant change in this party.
He's trying to
Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you, Desiree. Yeah, I mean, reserve comments. Go ahead, Becca.
I screwed it up, Adrian, because I didn't hear the question before I put it on mute to start shuffling. So I did a box spread for the next 3 months, and I screwed it up.
That's all right. Tell us what you got.
That's great.
She's sitting at the very top of the box spread. She is more than happy to lead the party in a whole new direction. She's got the cluster of close friends, meaning the garden, the child, and the dog. She's got a lot of support behind her back. We may not see it publicly, but she's got, what is that saying? The wind to her back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the saying? Like,
Wind
the wind in your face?
Yeah.
She's got a lot of that, even though we don't see it. Okay. It's almost like performance theater, a beauty pageant, sort of, at the moment. There is central to the box spread is the letter. Subpoenas and invitations to the loyalists, subpoenas and invitations to little people that were at the rally, that are loyal, shutting down social media sites. There may be items online that may be difficult to get to, but she achieves that goal. Either way, at the end of it, she knights here, or this closes the box spread. She's going to achieve what she set out to do. She's going to be persistent. She's not letting up. On the corners, she's got it's woman, stars, anchor, child. She's going to forge the way forward, and she's going to achieve it. But it's like, this doesn't happen quickly. Time wise, anchor is minimum of 1 year. Child is up to 1 year. So that's just a quick and dirty on that. She's had a loss. Woman knights over the coffin. There's something that, maybe it's her getting thrown off her committees or whatever they did to her to punish her. But it's like, I'm not trying to, glorify her, because she's not my friend. I don't like her policies at all.
Exactly.
On this instance, though, I got to give her props because, but I think Kevin McCarthy picked the wrong fight. That's all I'm gonna
He
say.
picked the wrong one to fight with.
And that's why I put her in the Republicans we hate to love category. Because
Yep.
it's like, I still don't trust her as far as I can throw her.
Hell no.
She's still her. I mean, I still have not forgiven her daddy for shooting that man in the face. Sorry.
I still don't forgive her daddy for lying us into a 20-something-year war.
You know, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. I'm just saying. But this is a person who, I'm gonna put these two together. Her personality type is to be the voice. She's supposed to be the speaker. The bop, 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 bop. The issue with this, though, this is why we hate to love her and we love to hate her. Depending on how aligned and attuned to this throat chakra is when she speaks. Is she speaking divine truth, like she's, I guess, trying to do right now? Or is she going to be on that soapbox speaking that Republican frackle knackle that she did prior? That's why this is a really interesting dichotomy, depending on how it's used and how aligned this throat chakra is. I'm going to say she's got the hedonist archetype. What's interesting is that when it's on the light side, fighting for light, she's going to be the creative force to help people see the higher and achieve the goals. The problem is when, so that we can say her doing the January 6th. There's a kitty, but the problem is when it's the shadow, she becomes indulgent. I'm going to indulge and get what I need at the cost of others, which is also why she's sitting on them last 3 or 4 text messages like,
You gotta love it though, how she put all these fools on notice, and like they're all probably sitting there pooping and peeing their pants, going crap.
them hoes notice. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
They're all mad. My text message is my privacy. Okay.
Okay.
You're welcome to the Capitol. You have no more privacy. Sorry.
Nobody cared about Hunter Biden's laptop's privacy now, did they?
They weren't crying then.
Or Hillary's emails, and yet they're all using
Literally about to say that. Literally about to talk about Hillary's emails, but y'all didn't ask me.
Let's
Anyway,
talk about who was using burner phones and the need for burner phones. Like, okay.
you know, this ain't The Wire. Anyway, go close us out on, I almost called her some really interesting names. Please close us out on, I'm going to call her by her government name, Miss Liz Cheney. Autumn, if you don't mind.
Autumn and Boo Boo's in Kitty.
Yes. Is she the oldest of the children?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but she's very much got big sister vibes, stern, big sister vibes in a stern family. Responsible. This is how things are done. Whew. She's fortunate in that when she was born in 1966, there were basically the 3 outer planets were all in really good aspect to each other, and then not skipping Saturn, which is kind of dour, and then bringing in Jupiter, which is very positive. And so all of these outer planets are in really good aspect to each other, which is a generation, which can not generational, but it's bigger than just individual planets like your Venus or your Mars. It has a bigger impact, and that is just powering her chart. She has Pluto and Uranus are in the same place, which does not happen very often at all, which is all about power, Pluto, and individualism and the power of the individual, blah, blah, blah. Her moon, it looks like there's some kind of birth time for her, but her moon and her dour limiting Saturn are square each other. So it looks like she can rock the stern emotions easily. I mean, she has 5 kids, so yeah. so you've got that, and her sense of self and her emotions, her sun and her moon are, it's called inconjunct. It basically means they're, it's just like, I'm over here, you're over there, and we can see each other, but there's no way to connect. There's, yeah. So she can be emotional, or she can be in her ego, and there's not an easy blending of those two. That then she has her Venus and Mars in the same place. So in the same way I was saying earlier with a Jupiter Saturn, where it's like the gas pedal and the brake pedal. You know, you're good at that. Well, with you, if your Venus and your Mars in the same place, you can switch back and forth between anima and animus. You can, between when do I want to be feminine? When do I want to be more masculine, or a mixture of the two? And she just, this whole, keep women down. Yeah, no, no. She'll throw down with the best of them and wear a beautiful suit, a feminine suit. So this is a power. It is a very powerful chart. Her Sun and Mercury are in Leo. She has that I am a queen energy. And since it's so disconnected from her moon, there's nothing, there's really not much softening that sense of I am a queen. So that's what I get there.
She seems like somebody who has queen bee syndrome.
Because she is the only female right now, well, prominent in front of Lord Jesus, in front of everybody trying to save the GOP. It seems the old GOP.
Yeah.
Oh,
not this new garbage they got going on.
The GQP, as you called them.
Yeah, the GQP. I forgot to mention her Saturn, which is all about setting limitations, is in the very last degree of Pisces, the sign of the institution.
She's trying to save her party.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, there are limits. There are rules. This is the institution. I'm going to save this institution. And her emotions are not getting in her way. If anything, it's a grinding with her moon. So if anything, it's just annoyance.
I would say she'd be a tough love mother also, like with her children.
Yeah.
Very tough love.
Not a lot.
Watch out, or I'll send you over to Grandpa's and he might shoot you.
If you go to Grandpa's and he goes hunting,
just don't take him hunting.
Could you imagine that is the threat that you get? All right, I'm gonna send you to Grandpa's so y'all can go. I would pee and poop on spot. I'm like, well, today's the day I get my face blowed off. And he's a lot more old and seen. Okay, guys, if we can do just a couple more, because I do want to end this on a positive note, because we were so in the trenches for so long. We were so dark. I want to look at a couple of some of the Dems who are fighting for our right now. I actually want to look at Mother Elizabeth Warren. For selfish reasons, I absolutely adore Mother Elizabeth.
I do too.
I want to see a celebrity death match between Elizabeth Warren and Elon Musk. They've been going back and forth a lot.
That would be amazing.
She always trying to chew up somebody with a bunch of money.
Always.
And I'm here to watch it because it's been great on Twitter.
And she only comes for the people who with a lot of money who are just selfish butt wipes. If you help and pay, she is like singing your praises.
She's up front too.
He's calling her Senator Karen. He's calling her a Karen. And I guess her response to that was, that he's one of the wealthiest people in the country that's always trying to get handouts. Because Tesla got a bunch of handouts, Yep. So,
and are getting ready to lay up a whole bunch of people because a generation of their car had killed a whole bunch of folks.
And they left California because they don't like the taxation over here to go to Texas where you don't pay taxes. Oh, and by the way, the electrical grid is crap.
So Miss Warren, who is she? Well, she gets good cards. That's a good thing. Now, mind you, I am biased. This is the person that I technically voted for, so I just being upfront, so you can take what I say and throw it out the window if you wish. But she gets the Knight of Pentacles. This is the methodical. This is the reliable. This is the person who works. This is not just the person who works, but this is the person who measures twice and cut once type of thing. So she checks and double checks, dots the I's, crosses the T's. So this is the person who has the plan. And then there's exchanging gifts. This is the card of putting a value to things. This is more than likely why she's always after Wells Fargo and everybody else in the world, and they like in trying to break up Amazon and trying to break up Walmart. Like she's always sinking her teeth into places that establish value for things. She wants things to be fair. She wants things, you can make all the money in the world, just be fair about it. That's her philosophy. So that's what exchanging gifts means. Her challenge is change and adaptability. Sudden change is not something that she personally adapts to well. So this would be something that she, I mean, hell, how old is she now? But I mean, never too old to learn. But whatever it is, the sudden changes in life is not something she can adapt to. She can adapt to incremental change, but sudden change, which is hard for a lot of people. But there you go. That's as mean as I'm going to be. So
She's got follow the leader, which is, you have to pick like when's your time to lead and when's your time to follow. But she has a lot of wisdom in which to lead with, and she's not afraid to put her past out there, like things that she's gone through or things that she's suffered from, in order to inspire people. She's not afraid to talk about like her childhood or things that she's gone through in life. And she has had a lot of loss, I get, in her life. She's supportive of whatever work you're doing. Like she's going to be a cheerleader big time. She's going to be very supportive. She will fight for feminine causes, I get, and for children all day, every day, anything to help women and children. Face the men down. She's very clear thinking when she does it. There'd be Elon Musk. Anything to move women to a higher standing. Justice all day, every day. What's fair and balanced, as Johnny said. Make everything fair and balanced. She does sometimes get stuck, has trouble moving forward and just waiting for the right opportunities. But she does love working together with people in the government. She likes, the structure of that. She has a lot of wisdom and a lot of strength to share, and she's just kind of waiting for her time to take that leap of faith to move into action on anything she's working on. I don't get anything like, other than she's had a lot of loss probably in her younger life. I don't get anything like off about her.
Yeah. Go ahead, Becca.
I get that she's very, very intelligent, teacher and student. I get that as well. So
Like the same thing. Her archetype is the student, always wanting to learn, always wanting to. With this, the archetype usually means book knowledge, but you notice you see the tree too. There's also that grounding to earth, that life experience as well. So she's always seeking to learn. She's also somebody super in tune to third eye chakra, seeing, always trying to look at the bigger picture. Very, very intuitive person. And she's got the healer as her personality type, somebody who wants to bridge healing. Like you all said, she does not like inequity. So how do we heal the inequities in the world? The only thing that I would say she needs to watch for is this root chakra with physical health. She's going to be the person who pushes so hard, fights so hard that she ignores her own health. She will worry herself sick. She will work all night and make herself sick. And that's something that she needs to, there's that balance in that root chakra is not there. Maybe to, how we would say is to self-sacrificing. Let me guess. Is she a Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Sagittarius, Aquarius?
No making fun.
I'm asking. Is she?
She's a
What is-
Cancer.
Okay.
Big mom of the zodiac.
Okay.
Both her sun and her Venus, what and how she loves.
Oh, interesting.
It's all about the big mom energy, but she's got a Taurus moon, so that practical. My mother has a Taurus moon. I know all about the Taurus moon. My mother's Taurus moon is directly across from my son, my sense of self, and the whole time I was growing up, she was so supportive of me and wanting to care, but it was in Taurus, and she'd be like, okay, but what are you going to do for a job? And what are you going, Mom? I'm like 14. No, but we need to be thinking about these things. So you have everything practically laid out.
Because I was going to ask you what does that mean and how does that show up? So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very practical, emotional nature. She wants things to be practical, usable, and to help people on a very real way. Taurus is the first earth sign. It's the material. It's actually getting you into a house, getting your garden, your food, I found a couple of things really interesting in her chart. One, her sun is, almost to the minute, conjunct in the same place as her Uranus, which is the rebel. And yet she persisted.
Mm-hmm.
You just try to box her in, because at the same time she has her Mercury, communication, and Mars, taking action, in the same place in Gemini, the communicator. So her communication, which is wonderfully happy in Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and all the force behind it of Mars. And yet she persisted. So anyone trying to shut her up,
Yeah, don't put baby in the corner.
baby's not going in the corner. That's not happening.
But I would rather have her following me around, yapping at me than MTG.
Oh, yeah.
Go there. I was like the Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elizabeth Warren harping on me on something, I'd take it all day long.
All day.
Yeah. Yep. But she literally cares. Her moon is her emotional sensitivity is in this grinding square to Pluto power. She sees how power can cause pain. She has seen that. She has internalized that. She understands. But her Pluto is also in a positive aspect to Neptune. So the power of dreams. And I don't get anything. There's nothing here that is icky, if you know what I mean. And the last thing I'll say is her North Node, what she's here to do is in Aries. She is here to inspire individualism and action.
Mm-hmm. I felt very inspired by her. I felt that I actually did do canvassing, because I was like, there's something in her presence that makes me want to fight. So I can definitely see that.
She literally cares. She really, really cares.
You gotta sell me. I was already sold.
I mean, I still call her Mother President Warren in my head. So let's end on the biggest fight for change. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh boy, I can tell you right now, her chart, it's a doozy.
With a doozy chart. Thank you guys so much, all 400 and plus of you, for tuning in tonight. Thank you to Desiree and to Marie for the super chats, your generosity, all of your generosity, the support, financial and emotional, is so greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so very much. AOC, another one. I really wouldn't want to get into a little verbal tit-to-tat with her, because she will come for you.
So who is she? The first card I draw is the Empress. This is birthing new things. This is also new ways of life. The Empress also in the tarot is the commander of life. This is the one that life comes through. This is the person that you don't get into this earth without the Empress. In her crown are the 12. You could it's a debate on what the 12 stars are, but that's the zodiac. So she has command over life and all of this type of stuff. This is the person who has, again, command over life. Now, you have here and now command over the present life. So she is not necessarily that. Yes, she can be fighting forward and canvassing forward and planning forward. That's the smart thing to do as a leader. But she is also living in the moment. She's not chasing her future. She is living right now, laying the foundation for whatever the future is going to bring can be on a solid ground. So she is right now creating a life for herself that will exist in the future. That way, when she gets there, it's fine. Now, her challenge is the execution of all that. I have blossoming. This is growing into oneself. So she is still in her 20s, is she not? She has a lot to learn. She has a lot to, she's a cheering. She's a baby cheering. So she still has a lot to learn, has a lot to do. And that's not a negative. That's just life. Everybody had a lot to learn at 20. So she still has a lot to do, a lot to learn. The blossoming is her challenge. So it's again, give her time to grow into who she's supposed to be. She's doing the right thing here. She's laying the foundation for whatever is supposed to come. But she just has a lot to go through. So she's going to make some stumbles, going to make some mistakes that she needs to be voted out tomorrow. Just means she's living. And mind you, it's a little harder for politicians nowadays because we have social media. So everything they do is publicized in 8 seconds. So let her grow, let her stumble, let her stand back up and show you what she can do. But that's your challenge is growing.
She was born in '89 for what it's worth.
She gets to follow the leader card too. So she has that leader energy. She's got the life experiences to draw upon, but she has to like figure out when to lead, when to follow. She is like a burst, an explosion of energy is what I'm getting. An illumination on different issues. She has an abundance of things that she gives birth to, ideas, plans, but she loses a lot because she's still young, she's still naive, she's still trying to figure out strategies and stuff. I get like both the family cards here and communication are what drive her forward. And I do get she's getting ready to transition into something much more solid, more stable, with partnerships, learning to partner, especially with male energy. Like she has a little trouble partnering with male energy, I'm getting. And she's got all the tools to be successful. She just needs to like watch the direction she charges in. She's like, you're going to have to repeat this again. If you charge off half cocked, it's like you got to like pick your shots.
That makes sense though, with her having trouble with male energy, considering the male she's surrounded by is Congress. Those people they're vicious, and she's still young, and
Well, and she came in with that whole entourage of new women, that came into Congress. So I thought that was interesting too.
I get that she's under a lot of stress, but it's like she's trying to eat away at what's been established. So the status quo, the way that things have always been, well, you can't do this because blah, 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 blah. You can't do that because blah, 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 blah. The gaslighting around all of that, and then eating away at it, chipping away at it, trying to show people that actually that's not really true, So yeah, it's hard work, but eat away at the way that things have always been done, the status quo.
You got to chip at it because you don't realize it's like that. Bad analogy, but it's like that thing you keep chipping at, and you think like, okay, I've peeled a layer, I should be getting to the diamond, and you're like, oh crap, there's still more rock, and you just got to keep chipping and chipping. It could be, you can see the edge of the diamond, so you know it's attainable, but it's like, golly, how much do I have to keep chipping?
Yep.
There's also, I think both of y'all have that oracle, the enchanted maps.
Mm-hmm.
There is I think it's called the mountain, and you chip away at the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And what that card also warns you is while you're chipping away, the rocks are falling.
Yeah.
And then you get to the core of what you were wanting, but you're surrounded by all the crap you just chipped away at. So it's like, yes, you can reach your goal, but now you're surrounded by another obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a plan to doing that more effectively. I think that she needs to just rest.
And
I
also,
hope she has that persistence that Elizabeth Warren has. I hope that she's in for the long haul. So I'm anxious to hear what Autumn has to say about her chart, because she's got that persistent to keep chipping. She could end up being another Elizabeth Warren down the road.
I was wondering, how does she conserve the energy so she doesn't
burn out?
Burn out, because in my read, Anchor was central. That's persistent.
Mm-hmm.
So she's persistent on details, persistent and with the stress, but also her persistence because of that can also dwindle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ooh, I get fluidity personality type. This is someone who sees more and is more malleable than people think. So this is somebody who doesn't adhere to a norm. Fluid, being very, very fluid. One of the things too is that she is, thank you so much, Joanne, for the super chat. She doesn't get too caught up in ego. She tries to keep that self-esteem balance, but the thing that could be too is that the work and the chipping away at the rock, she could take it too personally if it doesn't chip enough. Like that's something that she has to balance, because that solar plexus energy, I need to keep fighting. How do I keep fighting for the cause and not have it deter me in how I continue to fight my value as a congresswoman if I can't accomplish these goals? She's got to taper that. Grounding too is going to be instrumental for her, keeping herself, and I always get the grounding card when I read on AOC. She's very pie in the sky. She's got a lot of great crown chakra connection of we energy, but she also has to bring herself back down and come back down to earth. Mama Earth, hug the earth and get back to the grit of what makes us all us. So just that grounding is key. And she's got the prince. She's got the charm. This is why she was able to get elected and keep getting elected. She's a charming. What she speaks and what she says is endearing to people. And the key with the prince is also the person who has potential to have power. Because remember, the prince is in line for the throne. So there's a potentiality for power here that I think is very, very interesting for her. Not abusing the power, but there's eventuality. She could be in line, if lined up right, to one day be very powerful.
You know what's interesting about that, and I think it was Jenny. Was it Jenny that got a lot of male energy around her?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that, but it's also her opponents. That when you can't argue something, what do? You sick the hounds and start threatening some. So the death threats, the slurs, all of it, even from members of Congress, not to mention the people they sick on her too, so it's like, and that
male energy she got was the emperor at that, so that can be a little harsh, that person who just a great power,
that authoritarian.
Mm-hmm. Especially the old white man's club and versus the little Latino lady, like that's recipe for, hey, let me throw out all the rules and just act like a complete jerk.
The Boricua from the Bronx, so let's go after her. She's an easy target. you know.
That patriarchal society that just wants to squash a younger female like her, you know, and therefore let's rile somebody up, then maybe they'll go out and do her in for us, you know.
Mhm. She hits back though.
They
Yep.
know damn well what they say, what they're doing. All right, Autumn. We have been waiting for this moment for AOC.
Well, I'm sitting here trying so hard to think of a less crude way to put this, and I can't. You're gonna have to forgive me. Way back, there were these two guys who were in a band. They were musicians, and one of the things that they would do, they had really upbeat music, and they were like, you can't just stand there, you got to jump, you got to keep moving, you got to get the crowd going, you've got to keep going. So before they went out on stage, they would actually take capsaicin cream and spread it on their bodies, and including some sensitive areas. But it would kick in, and they'd go out there, and they would be jumping, and they would be, you know, just be high energy for a long period of time. I don't know how else to put it. When you have a chart that is just one gigantic, looks like a square with a cross in the middle, this is called a grand cross, and it is that kind of energy, and everyth's grinding against each other, or on a seesaw, and a seesaw here, and a seesaw there, and the grinding. And but the thing is this is in her birth chart. She grew up with this energy, and what happens is over time you get used to it. It's just how you are. So she comes into Congress, and she's got this energy, and people are like, no, there are ways that we do things like this. And she's like, I don't care. She can't change. She shouldn't have to change. She's not going to change. Good. Her whole thing is about fairness. Her everything, her sun, her Mars, her Mercury, her midheaven, it's all in Libra, the sign of the scales. Fairness. She is all about fairness. And her Mercury is on her midheaven. How she speaks is how she will gain status, and that communication. And it's she's got the moon way back here opposite. And while that energy can help lift her ability to speak up even higher, she's not afraid to she's not going to stay quiet so she doesn't get her feelings hurt. That's not going to happen. And her sun, her sense of self, and her Mars taking action are in the same place. Fairness in Libra, for fairness.
No wonder I got that sun card on the bottom. It's just full energy.
Yeah, exactly. She also, her, unlike some of these other people we're reading on, her Venus, how she loves, what she loves, and her moon, her emotional needs, and how she shows emotion, they are in a lovely aspect to each other. Matter of fact, I even drew a line between them, and I put little smileys all along the line. So there is a kindness in her, where those parts of her are well integrated with each other. It does feel like with her Mars or Sun is in that grinding energy with expansive Jupiter. It almost feels like she got used to not taking the easy way at a young age. It's like it's like the easy way wasn't available to her, and just wasn't. So she was like, fine, I'll just go. I'll just get used to it. And she just did. So she doesn't expect it. So when she faces obstacles, also she has what's called a T square here. I explained that Mercury being raised up, the the moon, her emotional needs here. Well, when that's seesawing, there's something at a pretty exact 90-degree angle to both of those things. So that energy will dump out through that center of the T-square. That center planet is Uranus, the rebel, the revolutionary. So her communication, her emotions, her emotional sensitivity, all of that up with their midheaven and it's just dumping out through revolutionary individualism. And on top of that, she's got some other stuff in her chart, but she is all about fairness. She will sacrifice her own ego or her own emotions to fight for fairness. And she's not going to mellow. She may mellow decades and decades and decades from now, maybe. But yeah, she's got a good heart, is what it looks like, but she's a firecracker. And she's here to be a firecracker.
That's what Pamela Bryant was asking, was like, will she tire? Tell us. And it's like, according to you, looks like she's not.
With that Sun and Mars together, that sounds like she's going to be very persistent energetically.
Yep. And that's, yeah. And she even has her Saturn which forms things, and her Neptune, which dissolves things. They're in the same place. Mm-hmm. So you get that she knows how to, it's like, okay, there's this dream. Let's make it reality. Okay, there's this reality. Let's add in some dream energy. Let's improve this. So she can play with those two energies very easily, back and forth. So it's a powerhouse of a chart.
And make sure in 2022 she has some fellow like-minded people to go play with.
Boing, boing, boing.
Yep.
That is the one thing. We can tell you all of these things all day, every day about these people, but it only goes so far if we don't go act, we don't go vote, we don't go do something.
Amen.
And we can't let the clowns take over the house next year.
Oh my gosh, no.
God, no.
No.
So with that, let's keep fighting for our rights. Thank you, guys. Johnny, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you Sunday with Tony at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll also see you Sunday night. Jen Lynn, we will see you Sunday night on Becca's channel. We will also see you Monday with Jody at 10 a.m. Central Time. Becca, we will see you maybe later if you feel like doing your grand tableau. And we will also see
do it
on your channel. Autumn, we see you every day. God bless you. That is amazing. Just you guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart I didn't think.
Thank you for doing this, Adrienne. I find it fascinating. I really have enjoyed these two videos, and we got to come back in January maybe and do another one.
Because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We'll add to the list. That list will get longer.
We still have 9 people.
I already have a printout. I got Joe Manchin, I got Bernie Sanders, Val Demings.
The whole list. So thank you guys so very much for joining. Thank you all 400 people for joining. Guys, please enjoy, be safe this holiday season. I will see you guys on Sunday with Tony and Johnny. Take care.
I just want to throw one thing quickly. Saturday night is the full moon in Gemini. Mm-hmm. Please be safe, everybody.
Yeah.
Think about the moon and what it can do to all of the oceans. So imagine what it can do inside of you and other people. So just be extra safe on a full moon, and that's Saturday night.
Please. Don't go crazy, Johnny. Don't go crazy Saturday night.
Don't tell me what to do.
Bye, y'all.